Hey, this is Keith from Venturi Matrix. On this site, we're going to talk about the anticipated area of rooting or critical root zone for this tree, and in particular, why it's constrained and it's not a perfect circle. So this is the southern magnolia that was probably planted when this church was founded 80 years ago. We have a driveway over here that's quite wide, and because it's that width, I do not anticipate any roots being under there at all. There's just nothing for the roots to get there, no air, no water, no nutrients. So all the roots, therefore, are going to be in this grass area that you see. We have a very impermeable surface over here to this side. So you're really dealing with a critical root zone for this tree being this lawn area, and as far as it extends to the steps over there. So it's a really rather limited rooting area. So any disturbance to this lawn area over here is going to exacerbate the impacts to this tree. And that's typical in a suburban urban environment, but you have to start looking at these sites and thinking to yourself, where are the roots going? They're not a perfect circle, and I don't like to see circles drawn on these tree protection plans because oftentimes it's very unscientific and misleading, and this is a perfect example. This is where the roots are. They are not under the road and they are not under the parking lot. Within Venturi Matrix, we ask you to identify the number of sides around the tree that are being impacted, and I think this is a perfect exhibit here of why that would matter. We're basically highly constrained on two sides of this tree. There aren't going to be any roots under there or under there, so as I said, all the roots are in this lawn area. So if you were to run a utility line down this side over here by the wall along the street, the impact would be intense. You'd be impacting one of two sides, and there's a factor for that in our formula. If you go across this front lawn here, that would be highly impactful, and there's a factor in the formula for that as well. If you impacted the roots behind the tree, you're going to be hitting the very scaffold or supporting roots that we talked about earlier, and that would be in that zone that you don't want to be damaging anyway, and that would be just terminal for this tree. But the important thing to look at here is that we really only have two functional sides of the tree, if you will, for root growth. So we've talked in previous sessions about critical root zone and the root plate zone. This root that's in front of me now is a perfect example of a supporting root for this tree. We're probably 15 feet or so from this tree, and you can see the size of the root here that's being exposed by the erosion on this bank. If you were to cut that root or this root up here, that's probably a 4-inch diameter root, this tree would suffer tremendously. So these are the kind of roots that we want to avoid cutting very much, and that's why it's important to map out that root plate and make sure you're not cutting those roots ever.